Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM on our final 2020 edition here, and of course here in Melbourne. Of course, it is New Year's Eve here, but let's go to our friends over in the US. And of course, we've got a very special guest on the show. Of course, she's a Victorian, of course. Her name's Agnes. She joins us from the Stanford women's basketball team. At the moment, the number one ranked team in the country at the moment, and of course, she joins us right now. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be on.
Played UCLA, of course, just before Christmas and beat them by 12 points, 61-49 in LA. I guess tell us a bit about the game and how strange was it to play against UCLA, and especially against your fellow Victorian in Chante Black.
Yeah, so Chante for that game, so she was injured though. So she didn't step on the floor, but it was really interesting. As a freshman, that was probably one of our toughest games that we played. So even though I didn't hit the floor, it was a great learning experience to see some of the guards in positions that I play, how they matched up against some of the, some other top recruits in the country. It was a really intense game. I think you might've seen, but Fran Believy, one of our post players, she dunks it again. So everybody was hyped. The energy was really awesome on the bench, and yeah, it was just great to, even though I didn't step on the court, really great to cheer for the team and things like that. Yeah, it was awesome.
Now, I want to talk to you about that play in particular. I did see that. Now, I have to ask, how high is she in height, and do you see that on a regular occurrence at training?
Yeah, so Fran, she's not our tallest post player. She's about 6'1", so she does get off the ground quite well. In practice, yes, it is quite a regular occurrence, yeah. And it's this year she's throwing it down with ease, which is awesome. With ease. So it's a regular now. It's awesome.
Now, you mentioned about, of course, Chante was also on the bench as well, of course, playing for the opposition. I guess, did you get to have a chance to catch up with her? Obviously, I think both of you are from the same region down there in the southwest.
Yeah, down Geelong way, yeah. So I didn't, we didn't get to have a proper chat or anything like that, but we were having our post-game meal, and they came out, some of them, and I just gave her a wave. We spoke a little bit, and then yeah, that was really it. Just with all the COVID, I guess, protocols and things like that, we haven't really associated as much with other teams, and same with them, they haven't associated with us off the court. Yeah, but it was really good to see a familiar face as well. Yeah.
Now, I always ask this question to all the basketball players, especially the Aussies that are over there at the moment. I guess, have you had any games cancelled at all? I know there's a lot of teams I've had. Have you had that same problem yourselves?
Yeah, just in terms of the games getting cancelled, it hasn't been on our end. It's been in regards to other teams potentially having have had cases. So the games have been postponed or cancelled, and also just some of the restrictions that have been added in because of our county. So we've had to reshuffle games and things like that, and just figure out different venues to play them. But with our protocol, we've done pretty well in terms of keeping COVID out of our team, which is awesome.
Obviously, you just mentioned about, of course, everything's all good at the moment, and all that with the protocols there at Stanford. But I guess you mentioned about the county in particular. Obviously, of course, he's had lockdowns and everything like that over there. I guess, how has the team adapted to, I guess, playing games elsewhere, and especially, I'm assuming some of your home games early on would have had to be scheduled somewhere else. Yeah. How has the team adapted to that?
Well, from the very start, when we all arrived here, we as a team, we decided that this whole season, because it's completely different, we're all just going to be flexible. We're all in it no matter what we have to do. So I think everyone's just adapted quite easily. The hotel rooms we've been seeing are really nice. The gyms, all the places we've gone to, we've had access to weight rooms, really nice facilities. Yeah, so it hasn't been a problem. Everyone's adapting really well. Yeah. It is sad that we're not on campus, but yeah, as I said, we're all flexible, so it's all good.
Now let's talk a bit about your team side of things. Obviously, at the moment, as I said in the intro, you are the number one ranked team in the country. How's the pressure been on the team to stay that way throughout the rest of the season?
I think there is like the external pressure, but I think in terms of like within ourselves, we just know that we just got to go out there and handle our business. So just play the way that we want to play, and then things will fall into place. So as long as we continue to like work hard, rebound, box out, like follow the scout, then I think like maintaining that position just like will not be like as difficult if we just do our thing. Yeah.
You mentioned about that, and obviously you said keeping it tight within the team, and obviously the coaches are fantastic coaches in their own right. You might as well tell us a bit about the coaches there at Stanford and what makes them so special and especially so well classed in their job.
Mm-hmm. So all of the coaches, so we've got like Tara, obviously the head coach, we've got Coach Kate, the associate head coach, Brittany and Katie, both assistants who are new this year. So like obviously I'm new, so I didn't get to know the assistants last year, but I think all the girls, like the upperclassmen, have said how well adapted like Katie and Britt have been this season. And I think just in terms of like what the coaches are dealing with this year, it's very different to what they dealt with last year. So I guess just like they're very flexible as well. They're always keeping us in the loop, like communicating with us if things change. And just like on the court, like obviously like basketball's a team sport, but then we'll have like little sessions where we have like individual like feedback and things like that. And I think that's just very helpful and I guess a testament to like their coaching skills and things like that.
You mentioned it's an all-female coaching staff. It's starting to become pretty normal now over there, where there's a lot of female staff as a head coach, but not just a head coach, but as a whole. I guess, how important is that to see the change, especially not just at Stanford, but obviously to see it elsewhere as well?
I think it's really awesome. I think that like I love that women are being recognized in the sport because they have like paved the way as well, not just the like obviously the NBA and things like that, but now there's more recognition in WNBA. And I just think like the way that college basketball is tending more towards like women head coaches, women assistant coaches, like staff that you were talking about, I think it's really awesome. And like if playing isn't the route that you want to take, then you also have the option of being a coach, which is incredible. So you can stay in the sport that you love.
Now, you're at a college that Alana Smith went to, funny enough, another Victorian, that so went over there. I guess, number one, did Alana convince you to go to Stanford, and why did you end up going to Stanford?
Okay, so I spoke to Alana's dad initially. So like when I was up at the Institute, we all had like all of us year 12s, we all had conversations in terms of like what pathway we wanted to take. And I knew that college was where I wanted to go. And then Darren, he spoke to me a little bit about like what schools I wanted to get into contact with and like what schools I wanted to like, I guess, leave off of my list. And so then he started a conversation with Stanford, and it's like a little bit different in terms of the other schools that were recruiting me because even if you are a student athlete, you still have to do like an application and be approved by the academic board before you can get in. So I had to go through all of that and then was approved. And I guess like I just said to myself, like on the visits, if I don't, like I'm gonna give every school a chance. Like I know Stanford is like where I want to go to, but if I don't like love the girls, like I don't get along very well with them, then like I'll leave that one. But like I got on campus and I like absolutely loved them all, and I was like, this is definitely where I want to be. Yeah.
Now let's talk a bit about the rest of your team. Now obviously you're one of the freshmen there. You might as well tell us a couple of your fellow freshmen that also joined you this year.
Yeah. So we have Cameron Brink, who's a 6'4" post player. She's from Oregon. She's awesome. It's her birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday, Cam. Because this is Australian, she probably won't even hear this. But yeah, she's awesome. She is really killing it this year. She's I think she's leading the conference in blocks, so that's really incredible. And then the other freshman is Jana Van Geitenbeek. She is from Colorado. She's a point guard, and she's incredible. She's a ball of energy, always talking, always cheering for the team. Yeah, love her. She's awesome.
Now, of course, on the opposite end, of course, I'm assuming you got some seniors as well that were supposed to finish up this year after this season obviously concludes. But obviously with COVID, I think with the NCAA rules that they get another year on top of that. I guess tell us a couple of the seniors in the team, and have you convinced them to stay on for one more season after this one?
Okay, so we have 3 seniors. One of them is a 5th year, so this is her 5th year. So that's Anna, and she is a point guard. So like before we were able to practice, before I was even able to get over to the States, we were doing like Zoom calls and we had mentors, and Anna was like my senior mentor. So she really helped me like get a hang of the plays and things like that. So yeah, so she's incredible. There's Kiana, who's like our starting point guard. She's from Texas, sorry. And she also was one of the people helping me in terms of learning all the offenses. And then we have Alyssa, she's a Canadian post player. And she's like, as an international, she's the other international. So it's really good. Like before I came, I was like talking to her about like the experience and things like that. So she was very helpful. And I'm not sure if they've made their decisions. I think that'll come later in the season. But yeah, so we hope so. We hope they all stay on. But yeah.
Now let's talk a bit about your basketball journey. Where did it all start and why did you choose it?
Okay, so I started playing basketball in Tasmania, and then I came here. And so I started just as a way to like meet new friends. I wasn't very good or anything like that. I played representative basketball for Ballerina Storm in Victoria. And then from there, I got opportunities to play for Victoria country. So like they recognized me. Like I was not very good. I was just tall. So then that's where that started from. And then I had an awesome coach at Ballerina Storm who really helped my development. That was Brendan Matthews. And then from there, like I realized that I could actually make a career out of the sport. And then I started to like work on like my outside shot, things like that. And then I guess I was offered a spot at the Institute of Sport. So then I went there, and then that was where I really developed my game from being from being a post player to a guard. So yeah. So I found out like basketball, it was a great way to meet friends, but it was also something I can make a career out of.
Now, you mentioned about that, of course, that Bahrain team, which was the first time I actually watched you play at Bahrain Storm. Now, of course, your teammates on that team is also over there in the US, not too far from you where you are as well, in California, in Eve, who's down at Pepperdine. We have 2 other Australians as well down there. I guess, do you communicate with her, even though I know that is in completely different conferences?
Yeah, no, so me and Eve still do keep in contact. I just ask her like how things are going. She also asks me, and yeah, it's just good to have like know that someone is here in the area with me. And like obviously like California, their COVID cases are similar all across the state. So it's good to just have someone that like is in the same boat. But yeah, she's good. She's really good.
What would be a highlight throughout your basketball journey so far in Australia and also now in the US?
Okay. Definitely like in terms of like playing with Australia, just playing Australian basketball, it would be the under-19 Thailand World Championship. Although we didn't win, it was like incredible to be on like the world stage playing against the best team in the world. Like we definitely should have won that game, but it's something that I'll always take with me. Yeah. And then when I think this was the first season, because she's a sophomore, the first season she dunked it, the first game she dunked it, I was about to come on the court, and like it was just the picture that was taken from it. Everyone was up from their seats. It was incredible. Because obviously I've never seen somebody dunk it in like a game, like a women's game. So it was just awesome to see. Yeah. Like firsthand as well. So I'd definitely say something like that.
Now, what position do you play on the court? If you had a preferred position where you'd like to convince your coaches to put you, where would that be?
That would be the 3 as the wing, one of the wings. Yeah. Because I'm not tall enough to play in the post. Not with the 6'4" people out there. Not anymore.
What does the sport of basketball mean to you, and especially being there at Stanford?
Mm-hmm. I think like basketball, like it's a sport that has opened so many pathways for me, so many doors. And I think just being able to be at like not only one of the top schools for basketball in this country, but also like one of the top academic institutions in the world, just from playing this sport, is something that I'll forever be thankful for. And I think just the fact that the sport that I started off as a way to make friends has taken me so far is something that I'll cherish forever. Yeah.
I guess further to that, I guess how important has the Ballerina Storm been to your basketball journey? And you might as well give them a bit of a shout out as well.
Yeah. So like all of the girls that I played with Ballerina Storm, we still keep in contact. Like we're all in like a group chat, and I got like a message the other day, and like they'd all gotten matching lightning bolts tattoos, and I was a little bit jealous that I wasn't there for that. So it's just like, I think in terms of like the girls, like the players that I played with, like they were all incredible people, both on and off the court. And I think that was just a testament to the coach, Brendan Matthews. Like he was a coach to us, but he was also like a father figure. So I think just that club, like we were a smaller club, but we were still able to achieve so much. And I think just knowing where I started from, and like that's really helped me in terms of like the kind of player I am today, I reckon. Yeah.
Now, do you have any future ambitions in the sport post-college?
Yeah, so definitely would want to continue playing and play professional. That might be in like the WNBA. I definitely want to play in the WNBL and hopefully like in Europe or something like that. And then like a big goal of mine would be to play for Australia in Olympic Games. That would be like the top goal that I would have. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite basketball player that you look up to?
When I was younger, because I like used to play post player, I would say Liz Cambridge, because I'm more shifting towards a guard. And like when we were up at the Institute, we were given players like to watch. I would say Maya Moore, just the way that she plays is something I'd want to reflect my game on a little bit. Yeah.
Now, what would be your advice to our Australian listeners back home that should follow the Stanford women's basketball team throughout the Pac-12 competition?
So if you guys are wanting to follow Stanford women's basketball, I think a lot of the games are streamed on the Pac-12 network, which is, you can download the app if you have Apple. I also think most of the games are played on ESPN as well. And also 7+. I think that's a new thing that they've added. Yeah. So that's how you'd be able to watch us.
Now, similar question, but this time, what will be your advice to people that should get involved in basketball?
I would definitely say like take the opportunity, I would definitely say get involved in the sport, even if it isn't basketball, get involved in a sport. Like you don't know the pathways that it can take you to. And in saying that, when I was playing basketball, whilst I was playing basketball in high school, I also focused heavily on my education as well, because like if college is the way you want to go, schools look at that as well. So I think just keep working hard both on and off the court, like in school and on the basketball court, and then you'll be able to achieve your dreams and things like that.
Now let's finish up with a couple of lighthearted questions about your teammates.
Okay.
Firstly, any embarrassing moments by anyone on the team this season so far?
I don't really think there's many on the court, but there was one time we went on a walk, a few of us, and I just remember there was, I think it was Fran, me, the twins, and Kiana, the senior. What happened was we were like walking, and like Fran was walking on the side of the road with her head down in her phone, and this guy on a bike, he like, I don't know what he said to her, but he like yells at her, and she like, we were like, what was happening? The way he said it, it was like she saw him, so she was about to move, but he just made it a very big deal. It was just hilarious. It was too funny. So funny. Oh, no, you should have seen her face that day. It was, I don't even know what he said. He said, he said, watch where you're going. Something like that. That was good.
Oh, who's the comedian in the team?
Okay, Fran would like to say herself, but I would think that she says that I'm one of the funny people in there, but I would personally I think Haley is pretty funny. She's quite funny. She's like sarcastic funny, and also like little comments kind of funny. That's what I'd say. Yeah.
Now, any good singers and dancers we should know about?
Everybody can kind of dance a little bit. Like we are a big TikToking team, so like everybody likes to make their own little TikToks here and there. Like just today, Kiana and Haley were like learning a new TikTok, and then film it at practice. Yeah, everyone can dance a little bit. Yeah.
Well, just answer my next question about TikTok. So I'll move on to the next question, which is there any players on the team that are just plainly forgetful?
Not really. I wouldn't say, like, people have had like their little forgetful and like spouts of forgetfulness here and there. Like, we had to bring out laundry today and some people forgot it in their room. They just had to run back up. But that's like really it. Nobody's like always, they're not the only ones who forget everything all the time. Yeah. It's like a little bit of here and there from everyone. Yeah.
Any pre-game superstition or ritual by yourself?
No, I'm not. I think like as I've grown up, I've become less superstitious. I don't really have anything that I think, yeah. Like when I was a junior and like when I was playing a post player, I would, if I lost the jump ball, I would not play well that game. That was so I had to win the jump ball. That was my biggest superstition. But obviously I don't take the jump anymore, so it's not a superstition anymore. That was the worst one, because if you lost it, you had to will yourself to play well, because I just don't know. Just in the back of my head.
Now, have you convinced any of your teammates there at Stanford to come down to Australia?
I didn't even need to convince them. Everyone's ready to come with me. They're like, there's no COVID cases. We should just move the NCAA down to Australia. But now there are COVID cases. And I just said, I don't think the Australian government is going to let any of us in. Maybe me, but I'll have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Well, I'm sure we'll be happy to have you back. Now, have any of your teammates tried to put the Australian accent on, and how's that traveling?
All the time. Jana always tries to put it on, but it just turns into like a little bit of a British one. And she's like her British accent is quite good, but like it's just not Australian. I don't think it's a very hard accent to put on, I've decided. Yeah, very hard. But no, they do try here and there, and they try to get me to do an American accent. But no, it's very English sounding. Yeah.
Well, you just answered my next question about American accent, so I'll move on to the next one, which is, now, is there a particular word that they try to mock you on?
I'd say it would be, there's little words, but I think water and maybe pass.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because that's stuff that I'd say like on the basketball court or like near, like when we're at the stadium or something like that. Yeah. But then there's other words. I can't recall most of them, but there are little words that I'll get mocked on.
Now we'll finish off with these last two, which is, now, does any of your teammates think you got kangaroos as pets?
Oh, I tricked one of the sophomores, Hannah Jump, into think like she believed it. I told her that we ride the kangaroos to school. And she went and she tried to tell somebody else, and they looked at her and they're like, Hannah, I think she's trying to get you. I think she's tricking you. But she believed it. It was too funny. I was like, no, like we have them like in our front yards, and we like hop into the pouches and ride them to school. She's like, what? Like, what? I was like, oh, I felt bad, but it was very funny. It was hilarious. Oh, it was a good one. It was funny.
Oh, I love it. And I've got to finish up with this one last one. Oh, I don't think my next question's going to match that one, but final question I'm going to ask, which is, do you have a pre-game song to hype yourself up before a game?
I think this song has stemmed from what's it called, like Australian tournaments. Like we would always play Lose Yourself by Eminem in the change room. So I like to play that one as like the last one before I take off my AirPods or anything like that. Yeah. So that song would definitely be the hype song. We would like get in a circle and we'd like push each other around before the game. And yeah, that one's the hype song. Yeah.
Well, Agnes, thank you so much for getting up your time to join us. It's awesome having you on the show, especially on our New Year's Eve edition. And obviously, please send our best wishes to your teammates for us. Hopefully that you can retain that number one seed in particular, but obviously, most importantly, hopefully win the conference and hopefully go all the way and win the NCAA championship in March, hopefully.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was awesome to be here, and happy New Year's Eve, everybody. Hope you all have a great night.
No worries. And that's Agnes there, joins from the Stanford women's basketball team, who are, of course, the number one seed in the country at the moment in college basketball. Of course, she's a former Ballerina Storm junior as well. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on the New Year's Eve edition.